Good morning. We've already won because we are here, because we are making an attempt. We have goals and aspirations, and we are moving in the direction. We are helmspeople that have taken command of our ships and sailed them to this location. Let's continue coming together by finding as comfortable a posture and being as undisturbed as possible. In doing this, in following this suggestion, we take notice of what's going on in our physical bodies. And that's a good thing because we want to isolate our physicality from our 21st century concerns. We want to let all of those responsibilities, relationships, and dialogues, and commitments, and etc., to fade away just for a little while. We can keep them in the back of our minds. That's okay. But let's focus on our physicality, on our textures of our skin, and how it interacts with clothing or the air or whatever you're doing. What is the temperature of your body, for instance? Being aware. Your body is covered with sensory nerve cells. What are you feeling? Your ears are picking up all kinds of ambient sounds. Mine, of course, and whatever else might be around you. And what are you feeling from that? What is your awareness of the sounds in your ears, in your mind, your interpretation? What is going on in your lungs? You are breathing in and out all day long. Maybe 15,000 times, I think, is the average of breaths in a day. Your heart is pumping, squeezing oxygenated blood from one end to the other of your body right now, about 90,000 times a day. So they're just charging off. How many thoughts are you having in a day, in a day, in a day, in a day, in a day? There are 86,400 moments or seconds, 86,400 moments in every day. How many are you utilizing? How many are lost? How many are taken for granted? How many excuses do you have for not accomplishing your goals and your aspirations? Well, that's why you're here. You are seeking self-improvement. Me too. It is through our practice that this opportunity arrives, that we heighten our awareness, that we perceive more, and so on and so forth. Breathing. We breathe in, and we reach the top of our inhale, and we pause for a moment or longer before we begin our exhale. And we exhale. And as we reach that point where we are satiated with our exhale, that we have sufficiently emptied our lungs, then we pause again for a moment or for longer, and we begin this four-part process again. What have we done? We've followed a cycle of breathing. What is the importance of this? Is that it is a tool that can be utilized to help us relax, to help us focus, coming into a comfortable posture, that we begin to increase the length of our breathing and the length of the pauses in between our in and exhales, that we can be more aware of them and, in a sense, control them upon the sea of our own being. Sometimes you are turbulent, right, like a storm? So that's what I mean, the sea of our own being. You are breathing longer and deeper and more sensuously, right, with more awareness, with more sensitivity, that you can focus on this. You and I are seeking to find a state of awe within ourselves with humility, acceptance, appreciation, leading to a sense of grace and awe, that we are here, that we are alive, that we can aspire to become more worthy of whom and what we are. 1 billion years after evolution began on this planet, we are at the height. Look around. See everything that we have done. Marvel. Yes, there is negative and positive, but you are not focusing on one, you're focusing on all of it. Penicillin, okay? The universe is constantly changing. Within the context of the universe constantly changing, you and I are constantly changing too. The moment just past is gone. We are here now. And we are bundles of miracles, evolved over 1 billion years, hundreds of millions of generations, of iterations of life. That's whom we are. It's in our DNA, this miracle, this bundle of miracles. And we are humbled by this immensity of creation, not only in the size of it, which is 90 billion light years in diameter, but in its intricacy, that there seems to be no end in either direction. Thinking with a sense of perspective that illuminates us as individuals in comparison to the universe should foster a sense of the miraculous nature of creation, a sense of humility, if you are thinking. Where does this lead us? But to a sense of appreciation, that we have an opportunity to be aware like this, that we can look up at the sky at night and see stars of solar systems just like ours, infinite into the distance, and we can be humbled and feel a sense of awe. Be this way. Be this way for yourself. Be proud of yourself. And notice that everything is changing, as you already know it will. Realizing that practicing being whom we want, making habits, is what it's all about. You are whom you are. Becoming aware of your breath is a beginning. Already our perspective is changing. We are a different person than we were 7 minutes ago when we began this practice session. Let's think of another physical process that we have that we can utilize to help us gain our focus, to help us raise our perspective on ourselves. And that is our heart's beat, our heart squeezing blood throughout our vascular system. It's an amazing thing going on. Have you ever taken a few moments to think about the length of your arterial system? It's 60,000 miles long. In an adult, your heart is squeezing blood through 60,000 miles of vessels inside your body. Yeah, be humble before this miracle, because that's what it is. It's taken 1 billion years to make you and I. I guess the point is don't take yourself for granted. You are a bundle of miracles, and you should be humbled before the immensity, the magnitude, the intricacy of creation, of which we are only the tiniest spark. And we should be appreciative, have a positive attitude towards this incredible universe that we are part of. It is the opportunity in this kind of thinking to find a sense of humility and a sense of awe. Be here now. Join me in the awareness of our breathing process, our flowing breath, moment-to-moment connection, and in our hearts squeezing, pulsing, oxygenated blood. What are these two doing together? Even more, something to further consider in our physical integration. Let's take a look. Pausing for a moment, let's take a gander at ourselves and realize in being kind to ourselves and being generous in our understanding that it is not necessarily easy to maintain an awareness of our sensory perceptions as well as the process of our breathing and the process of our heart squeezing. Understood that this is a lot right there. We're not used to doing it. We take it for granted. So the inclination is to put it aside and think about something a little more tasty. But we're making our effort, and we're just about to add to this. So what I'm saying also is that be kind to yourself, be understanding, utilize compassion, that you are making an attempt at self-improvement, and it takes time, and it takes steps, and it takes practice to build yourself up to have the strength to have these thoughts going on in your mind rather than other things, like we spoke about, relationships or responsibilities or this and that. Okay, so a word of advice is to be nice to yourself. Don't be frustrated or angry. Be kind and be understanding. You are doing something that is great. There is nothing more important than being aware, than in making a goal for yourself to be more perceptive, to be more wise, to be more mature. This is what you're looking for. It is heart-rendering. Okay? So the process of breath and the process of circulation combine in the 500 million alveoli in our lungs. And the oxygen is distributed to all the cells in your body. They need the energy of this oxygenation of your blood to thrive, to live. The combination of these two processes equals your being alive. How important is that? Right? So we're aware when we are called to find oneself in a comfortable posture, to physically utilize our sensory perception to begin this process. And we feel. And then we're asked to be aware of the process of our respiration, and then the process of our circulation, although not necessarily in that order, right? Every moment is new. So don't get caught up too much. It's good to have rituals and habits, but to be open-minded, again, kind, considerate, compassionate. These are qualities that we want to have. Well, what are they? What do those two equal? They equal that you're alive. Hello? That's what we got. You and I are here right now. We're alive. And all of the trillions of cells that we have, how do they communicate? With energy. So every time you feed these cells, billions and trillions of cells are saying, thank you. Don't you feel good after you eat? You kind of relax. You feel good. Yeah, well, same. But again, it is something that is ignored. You ignore your breath. You ignore your pulse. And you ignore the ecstasy of the living moment. Oh boy. You ignore the ecstasy of the living moment. What are you talking about? I'm talking about 1 billion years of evolution. Do you think that you wouldn't put a good feel-good mechanism inside of oneself? You have all these things going on. Think about it. You do. It is the ecstasy of just being alive. It is that. So remember your physical sensations. Remember your breathing. Remember your pulsing. And remember the ecstasy of feeling the shimmering vibration of your cellular system. Your body is vibrating in the ecstasy of life. Remembering this. You may not feel it. I don't know. I do. You can learn to. It is like your breath. You don't remember it until you do. It is like your pulse. You don't remember it until you do. It is like your shimmering majesty. You don't remember it until you take notice of it. So do. That's the point. Do. So perhaps you've come here hoping that I'm going to give you a series of steps that will help you attain self-realization. And in these 3 steps, you've been given what you want, what you need to hear. It is your practice. It is your effort. It is your own quest for sensitivity that will show you the answers to these questions that I've raised in our practice today. You need to put some time in to evaluate this. If you have questions, ask them. Have a nice day.